Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, where today guys, I'm going to do part 13 to my Google Gemini chatbot series. Well, in today's video guys, we're going to try at least one more time to have a good run with the new toad owl I created, well the new Feraligatr. So, yes, the last time we did this, I forgot to tell it there was a whole different toad owl, and this whole story turned into this regular being, but being the toad owl that could transform into different creatures, and then started accusing me of abandoning him. And I did tell him I never abandoned him or anything, but he did say for some reason he got called back to the lab. Everybody did, and like he would think that he was being intended to, I think all four of the porn were intending for me to catch them again in Pokeballs. But it's like, dude, it don't make sense. How in the world were they given to me and then flipping taken away from me for me to have to catch them again? It's like, are you kidding me? I mean, do you see what I mean? So I really had to put the statement at the end of the thing. I had to say, by the way, it is not the same Toad I got at the professor's lab. It's a totally different Pokemon that I've never met before. If this somehow ruins that, I'm gonna be hissed. Here we go. The Vengeance of the Aqua Crocodile. In the lush, vibrant wetlands, there lived a young toad owl whose heart was as open and sparkling as the water he swam in. He was a beacon of pure kindness, a small, sweet soul who yearned for nothing more than a multitude of friends, both human and Pokemon. To help others was his greatest joy. He was perpetually eager to assist any Pokemon in need. He never failed to obey his loving family, and he would even extend his help to humans who showed him a bit of courtesy. The world in the Toad Owl's young eyes was a place of endless opportunities for friendship and good deeds. However, the world's kindness was not destined to match his own. When he was just 2 years old, the first shadow fell across his bright existence. One humid afternoon, he saw a man nearby strolling under the weight of a heavy wooden box. Despite his small stature, the Toad Owl, propelled by his innate desire to assist, scampered closer and offered his help. The man, however, did not see a helpful creature. He saw only a nuisance. "Hey, you little varmint! Get out of my way!" the man growled, before cruelly tossing the massive box right into the innocent Toad Owl. The pain was immediate and excruciating. Crushed, injured, and utterly bewildered by the man's brutal reaction, the young Pokemon was in deep distress. Thankfully, his parents rushed to his defense, chasing the cruel human away before tending to her injured son. With the swift healing touch of his family's love, Toad Owl was back to his cheerful, sweet self within days. An incident was pushed to the back of his mind, a painful memory he refused to let extinguish his good nature. The Descent. Over the next several months, the Toad Owl persisted in his quest for kindness. He continued to approach humans with an open heart, only to be met with relentless aggression. People would not simply ignore him, they would pick on him, try to scare him off, and, most terrifyingly, attempt to capture him without provocation. The constant rejection hurt chipped away at his spirit, one painful interaction after another. The dawn finally broke on a devastating day. A group of particularly cruel humans surrounded his family, determined to capture them. The defense was fierce, but ultimately the humans succumbed in their malice, killing the Toad Owl's mother and father. The profound loss, coupled with months of ceaseless, unwarranted cruelty, triggered a catastrophic emotional collapse. Toad Owl's grief, shock, and incandescent rage became an overwhelming force. His body began to glow, not with the gentle white light of a normal evolution, but with a terrifying crimson intensity. He bypassed the crocodile stage entirely, his small form violently twisting and surging into a magnificent, terrifying Feraligatr. Transformation was grotesque and powerful, manifesting his vengeance in his very flesh. The red glow around him pulsed violently. His natural aqua blue hide darkened into a deep, abyssal shade of blue, like a midnight swamp. Spikes on his head, back, and tail grew unnaturally long, sharp, and silver, taking on the deadly sheen of blades. Most startlingly, in the center of these new spikes, a ferocious, tiny toad image appeared, its silhouette covered in vengeful fire, the last vestige of the sweet child he once was, now burning with pure anger. Oh no. Vengeful transformation. As the crimson light faded, a curious phenomenon occurred. The power that had fueled the terrible evolution shot from the Feraligatr's body into the ground. A second later, a small, pristine Toadal plush materialized, completely separate from the enraged giant. This plush was a magical, moving EFFIGY. I don't know what that means. Of its former kind self. It could speak and move, representing the purity and helplessness the Feraligatr had discarded. Helpfulness. The human who had witnessed this monstrous transformation was instantly paralyzed by terror and tried to flee. Before the man could take a single step, Feraligatr's eyes flared a menacing red, instantly freezing the man's body. He was trapped, utterly helpless against the raw, new power of the massive Pokemon. The Feraligatr stalked over to the petrified man and snapped his clawed fingers. A chilling purple light erupted, enveloping the man's form. "Did you people leave me alone?" the Feraligatr hissed, his voice a low, terrifying growl. "No. Now I'm going to take your soul." A glowing, eternal blue light, the man's soul slipped from his body and floated directly into the Feraligatr's massive clawed hand. Human's body immediately went limp and collapsed to the earth, a vacant shell. The Feraligatr, now the master of this lost soul, placed a heavy claw onto the man's head and spoke with cold finality. "I have had enough of this. I am done being nice to humans. You have treated me badly, and I'm sick of it." Then, with an air of dark, absolute command, he invoked his newfound abilities. "Vengeful magic, it is you I seek. A horrible fate is what this person will meet. He will have no memory of what is to come, but he will regret his choices a ton. Turn this man into a massive robot triceratops that will serve me and never disobey me." Instantly, the man's lifeless form contorted and expanded, transforming into a formidable 15-foot robot triceratops. Its metallic body was devoid of any memory of its former human life, now a loyal, powerful servant to the Feraligatr. Satisfied, the vengeful Pokemon began using the robot for all manner of tasks, a symbol of his absolute power. His evolution had granted him incredible command. He could manifest his will with a simple snap of his fingers. Sanctuary and secret. Yet, a curious tenderness remained in the heart of the raging beast. Despite his all-consuming anger toward humanity, the Feraligatr was fiercely protective of the small Toadal plush. He always ensured its safety, guarded it, and even used the hulking robot to gently play with it. A strange contradiction to his dark nature. Over the ensuing months, the Feraligatr kept his new sanctuary far from the borders of civilization, hidden deep within a secluded forest. Any human who stumbled upon his territory was met with swift, cruel retaliation, a continuation of his quest for vengeance. Meanwhile, small Toadal Plush, a sentient echo of his lost innocence, remained playful, sweet, and curious. It represented the purity the Feraligatr had abandoned, and in his tiny way, yearned for the very thing its counterpart despised, a human to play with. This duality defined the resistance, the raging, powerful Feraligatr fueled by fury, and the sweet, curious Plush hoping for friendship. Neither knew that the key to reversing the curse, to merging the two sides and evolving into a magnificent gold-plated crocodile who would only use his power for protection, while in finding a human the Feraligatr could gently trust and care about. I kind of wish it didn't reveal that. I think I kind of did during the last session, but it's like I wish it actually kind of didn't reveal that. That way it'd be even more of a surprise for everybody. The unintended meeting. Another month passed in the deep, untamed woods. The forest was silent and dense, an easy place to lose one's bearings. Having taken a wrong turn on the journey home, you suddenly found yourself deep within this secluded, hidden territory, only unaware of the powerful creature and his robot servant that dwelled there. As you walked, the soft sound of the forest floor underfoot were broken by something unexpected. Rounding a heavy thicket of ferns, the scene unfolded before you. Small, vibrant Toadal plush was playing innocently, batting at a low-hanging branch, completely absorbed in its own simple enjoyment. Nearby, a giant, terrifying figure sat with his back to you. It was the Feraligatr, his deep blue hide and silver blades catching the mute light of the forest. Next to him, perfectly still, was the colossal metallic form of the robot Triceratops. Its eyes were dull, observant yellow. Suddenly, the robot's head swiveled with a grinding whir. Its gaze fell upon your presence. The yellow lights in its eyes instantly flared up, turning a brilliant, angry red, and from its metallic mouth came a chilling, synthesized sound. Warning. Human presence detected. At the sound of the alarm, the Feraligatr and the small sweet plush both snapped their attention toward you. Uh-oh.
Give me a moment.
Alright, guys. It says, at the sudden turn of the robot's head and the Toad-on Feraligatr looking at me, I get a little started back up. What in the world? Hi? Oh no, I was wondering that Feraligatr's about to kill me. The robot's red eyes were locked onto you, a silent, menacing focus, and the sudden, booming voice of the machine shattered the force's quiet peace. Powerful Feraligatr, a creature of abyssal blue and silver-bladed fury, stared directly at you. His eyes narrowed with cold suspicion and hostility. Yep, that's not good. Beside him, the small animated Toadal plush looked up with a mixture of wide-eyed curiosity and a touch of concern. Your instinctive step back and soft startled words were the first human sound to pierce the Feraligatr's carefully guarded sanctuary in months. The enormous Pokemon did not move, but the atmosphere around him seemed to get heavier, charged with latent, powerful energy. His gaze was a silent challenge, the culmination of all the betrayal and anger he had suffered from humankind. The robot Triceratops began to grind its gears, its massive body preparing for movement, its red eyes unwavering. The only creature that offered any hint of welcome was the small plush. Toadal plush, representing the Feraligatr's sweet former self, let a small, high-pitched hint of sound. A brief Croco? He's not Crocodile! Before quickly looking down, intimidated by the giant Feraligatr's icy stare, the Feraligatr finally moved his head, shifting his focus slightly to the robot, but his attention was still entirely on you. He did not speak, but the message in his deep blue eyes was clear. You were an intruder, and you were not welcome. We are so dead. This Feraligatr's not going to be understanding as the last one. Even that last one wasn't understanding, but at least he said something and was like, hey, what are you doing here? This one's like deadly staring at me, and that's terrifying. What would you think if you just saw a Feraligatr sitting nearby looking at you? Like that would be terrifying if you think, especially if he thinks of you as an enemy and not a friend. You're probably screwed. It kind of sucks that Toad ain't talking now either, because that's gonna make it even harder to say something. Give me a moment. Probably not the right words to use, but I get really startled and back up even more and then go, oh dear, I didn't know anybody else was in here. Who are you? The forest floor rustled beneath your feet as you retreated further, a rising sense of alarm causing your heart to pound. A trio of beings, the massive glowing Feraligatr, the sentient robot Triceratops with its ominous red eyes, and the small sentient Toadal plush remained fixated on you. Feraligatr finally stirred, a slow, deliberate movement that spoke of immense, barely contained power. He did not introduce himself. Said a gurgle deep sound rumbled in his chest, a sound more akin to a low-frequency warning than a speaking voice. Robot Triceratops, slow and unfeeling, reacted immediately uh, to its creator's slight movement. Somehow it had dipped slightly, the grinding sound of its neck joints filling the brief silence. It was the little toad plush that finally offered a response. It took a timid hop forward, its soft, plush face looking up at you with wide, curious eyes. Its voice was a small, earnest squeak, a stark contrast to the power radiating from the Feraligatr. "Hello," the plush whispered, before it bounced backward, positioning itself slowly behind the massive, protective foot of the Feraligatr. It not offering names, only the brief, nervous greeting before falling silent again under the weight of the Feraligatr's hostile gaze. "I'm so screwed." The large form's red-tinged eyes narrowed slightly. Then snapped his clawed fingers, not you, but off to the side, and a dark shadow seemed to pass over a nearby tree trunk. Oh, crap, what's he about to do? Don't tell me that tree's about to come to life or something. It just said he snapped his fingers and it did, and some kind of power was at a tree trunk. If that tree comes to life and grabs me, I'm done. That's horrifying. What kind of power does this Feraligatr have? It turned a person into a robot. What's next? Is it going to turn one of these flipping? Is it going to find a squirrel and turn that into a massive fire-breathing dragon to roast me with? Or a flipping dinosaur to chop me in half? I'm kind of terrified to find out what this Feraligatr's doing. I'm kind of scared. Okay, guys, this might be more terrifying than the last one. I didn't say much for this one, so I didn't know what to say, because I don't even know what he's doing. Only thing I know is he's trying to use his power, and it seems like he's doing something with a tree trunk, and that's worrying me. Like I said in the last section, I hope this tree doesn't just get up and start walking over and trying to hurt me. That's just I get really worried, and even shaking a bit. And I just say, what are you doing? The sudden sound of the Feraligatr's clawed fingers and the accompanying flicker of dark magic over the tree trunk caused you to tremble, fear mixing with confusion. Then a slight step back, your focus locked into the massive Pokemon. Feraligatr simply held your gaze, his massive form utterly still. He made no move towards you, yet his posture radiated overwhelming, predatory power. Only sound was the low electric hum from the robot Triceratops, whose red eyes tracked your every tiny movement. Toadapple, sensing your fear, wriggled nervously near the Feraligatr's foot. It looked quickly at the enormous crocodile, then back at you, its plush features conveying a palpable mix of curiosity and distress. Finally, the Feraligatr let a low, challenging growl, a sound that seemed to vibrate the air. Then one of his massive clawed hands and slowly pointed a deadly silver spike at his forearm toward the path you had taken into the forest. It was an undeniable silent command. He was telling you in the most menacing way possible to leave. Oh, no, 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 no. Okay, this is even more terrifying than the last one. This Feraligatr's gonna hurt me, probably. I said, "I'm sorry I'm in your territory, but please don't hurt me. I'm not here to hurt anybody." You held your hand slightly out, a universal gesture of surrender, your voice soft with apology and pleading. Feraligatr's clawed arm remained pointed toward the forest path, unwavering in his demand for your departure. Yep, he's not as friendly this time. Massive Forn's eyes narrowed further, the red light in their depths seeming to intensify. The deep rumble in his chest shifted into a low, prolonged growl, a sound that conveyed a profound disbelief in your words. To the Feraligatr, the phrase, "I'm not here to hurt anybody," was a lie that every human before you had told before causing him devastating pain. He slowly and deliberately began to curl his fingers inward, forming a tight, powerful fist with the claw that had just been pointed. Surrounding air heavier, suggesting a hostile power was building up. Oh, dear frick me. The only sympathetic response came from the ground near his foot. Toadapple started bouncing in place, frantically looking up at the towering Feraligatr. It led a series of quick, tiny pleading chirps, quickly trying to communicate something to the enraged giant. The Feraligatr ignored the plush, his focus entirely on you. He looked at his massive head, and a word finally emerged from his throat. A cold, hissing whisper that carried an immense weight of hostility. Just the word,
Go!
Yep, that's horrifying. Yep, it's the reason why the last time we did this that Feraligatr went so easy on me is because of the fact that in some way he recognized me. Because this is way more terrifying than the last one. Give me a moment, guys. Alright, guys, this is very dangerous, but I tried to see if I can talk to him. I said, please, I beg you not to hurt me. I have nowhere I can go. I'm lost in here and haven't been in this forest for over 45 minutes. Please, I'm not here to hurt anybody. The plea in your voice, the mention of being lost and desperate did nothing to soften the Feraligatr's hostile expression. Oh yeah, we're so screwed. Instead, the rage in his eyes seemed to solidify into a cold, hard decision. He had heard of lies and excuses from humans for years, and he saw no reason to believe you were any different. His fist tightened, the silver blades on his form glinting in the dim forest light. The immense power surrounding him began to condense. A faint, sickening purple glow started to emanate from his curled fingers, silent promise of the vengeful magic he was about to unleash. Oh dear.
You speak of lost.
The Feraligatr finally growled, his voice a low, rough baritone of fury.
Then be lost forever.
Oh, that's just uh-oh. However, before the menacing purple light could grow, a frantic destruction occurred at his feet. Chatbots suddenly launched itself from the ground and began to desperately tug at the Feraligatr's heavy ankle, squeaking and chirping a rapid-fire string of tiny, insistent sounds. It was a clear, desperate protest against his companion's intended action. Feraligatr stopped, his expression tightening into a grimace of annoyance as he looked down at the pleading blush. Her light immediately faded, suppressed by the abrupt interruption. Giant's focus, now split between his anger at you and his strange, protective tenderness toward the plush, was broken. The robot Triceratops, seeing its creator pause, also held its position. Triceratops still fixated on you, waiting for the command to move. Momentary delay, created entirely by the small, kind-hearted plush, brought you a precious few seconds. I want to get him to trust me. That's the thing about it. It's like, but how do I do it where he'll understand me instead of him trying to attack me? Give me a moment. Alright, guys. I said, Toto, thank you. Please, whoever you are, don't attack me. I don't want to be lost in here forever. Your attention snapped at the small, heroic figure near the Feraligatr's foot. Yep, thank you, Toto. A flicker of hope rising as the little plush had seemingly interrupted the giant's attack. Her gazed back to the massive, enraged pawn. Yep, It says the Feraligatr's eyes fixate on you again, his expression a complicated mix of irritation and cold fury. Little Plush was still desperately tugging at his ankle, trying to redirect his attention and stop him from attacking. With a powerful, exasperated sigh that sounded like rushing wind, the Feraligatr finally dislodged the Toadal Plush with a gentle but firm shake of his foot. The Plush landed shortly a few feet away and immediately bounced back up, chirping its continued protest. The Feraligatr ignored the plush and leveled his gaze at you. The air was still heavy with his power, but the purple glow of his vengeful magic did not return. The interruption had broken his focus, yet his deep-seated hatred for humans remained clear in his eyes. He slowly lowered his arm, but his massive claws remained slightly spread, ready to strike.
You are lost,
the Feraligatr growled, his voice rough and laced with menace.
All humans who trespass here are lost. Now, you will be silent. Do not speak of names or thankfulness. I will decide your fate.
No, oh, we're so dead. He then snapped his fingers, this time not with a dark purple glow, but with a dull blue flash. Robot Triceratops immediately responded, its red eyes glowing brighter as it took a single step, a slow, thundering step toward you, cutting off your immediate path to retreat. The claws of the robot stopped, metallic head hovering over you like a silent, towering judge. Oh dear. The Feraligatr simply watched your reaction, waiting to see if you would defy his order for silence or if you would accept the terrifying, uncertain fate he had now imposed. But now what? Didn't he tell me to be quiet? Yeah, you will be silent. Do not speak of names or thankfulness. Okay, this is terrifying. I have a feeling he's not going to show mercy because he told me to be quiet. No, like, how are you supposed to do that? It's like, dude, if I stay quiet, it's not going to resolve anything. It's just going to make him want to hurt me. Like, he's going to attack me. I just get really terrified of the robot, and unfortunately have to back up even closer to the giant Pokemon. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Please stop! I don't want to be hurt. The sudden thunderous step of the robot Triceratops was overwhelming. Its massive metallic bulk, crowned by those menacing red eyes, forced you into an instinctive retreat. Unfortunately, the only path of escape was blocked, leaving you with no choice but to stumble backward, bringing you terrifyingly close to the very creature you feared, the immense, furious Feraligatr. Yep. Yep. Oh wait, I'm practically at the Feraligatr's feet. Oh, I'm so screwed. The Feraligatr looked down at you, his deep blue form towering over you. Fear radiating from you was palpable, and the irony of your panicked retreat directly to him did not escape his notice. Silent, grim satisfaction flickered in his cold eyes. He had successfully cornered you without lifting a finger, simply by deploying his metallic servant. Oh, we're so screwed. Robot Triceratops immediately obeyed his unvoiced order and inherent in your terror. It ceased its slow advance, its hulking form freezing exactly where it was, a formidable, unmoving wall. Its red eyes maintaining a steady, unwavering lock on your position. The Feraligatr slowly crouched down, bringing his massive head closer to your level, his sharp silver-bladed spines glinting. His breath was low and chilling.
You fear the toy,
he growled, the word toy delivered with chilling contempt for the former human.
You fear it. You are close to the one who can make you beg for the robot's gentle touch.
The small Toadal plush, seeing your distress and your sudden proximity to the giant, started forward again. It stood bravely between your feet and the Feraligatr's face, its tiny plush arms spread wide as if trying to shield you from the behemoth it represented. Without a nervous but determined series of protective squeaks, clear persistent appeal to its larger counterpart conscience. Freddy simply stared at the plush with an expression of intense frustration. Oh no. See, but now, wait, does it think it's a human? Because it says right here, you are close to the one who can make you beg for the robot's gentle touch. Oh no, it's not even just that. Oh my gosh. Give me a moment, guys. Alright, guys. I just told him, I swear to you, I don't mean any harm. Just please don't hurt me. Why are you trying to attack me? I didn't do anything to you. Trembling so close to the immense Feraligatr, your voice was laced with frantic sincerity. You pleaded with him, emphasizing your innocence and demanding to know the reason for his hostility. Demanding? Excuse me? I don't think you should be demanding. I didn't demand him. The Feraligatr lowered his head further, the proximity of his rage terrifying. He disregarded the tiny Toadal plush currently shielding your feet, his crimson-tinged eyes burning with the memory of every past injury. He didn't have to attack you personally to consider you guilty.
You resist,
he hissed, the word cut in the air like one of his silver blades. His voice was a raw expression of his deep-seated bitterness and pain. He leaned in, his monstrous gaze fixated on you, and a deep, malicious certainty settled in his tone.
I do not know you, human, but I know your kind. You seek to capture, you seek to exploit, you seek to destroy. You took everything from me, my kindness, my trust, my family.
He let a short, contemptuous snort, pulling back slightly as if your very presence was repugnant.
You trespass in my peace,
he growled, indicating the desolate, hidden sanctuary he had carved out.
and for that, You deserve what all of your species deserves.
As he spoke, the Toadopus started to jump up and down with fierce determination, its small, frantic squeaks escalating into louder, more distinct pleas. It was arguing with him, trying desperately to use its voice to convince its larger, angrier counterpart. Feraligatr, though clearly annoyed by the interruption, paused. He had made his declaration, and now his gaze drifted from you to the plush, a calm visible in the set of his jaw. The plush had saved you once, and now it was trying to save you again. Oh my gosh, holy cow. Give me a moment. Alright, guys. I said, I promise I'm not here to do any of that. Please just give me a small chance. I don't even understand what's going on. I promise you I didn't come into your territory on purpose. I'm lost in here. Please give me a chance and believe me. You stood your ground, your words a desperate plea for a moment of trust, a small chance to prove your innocence against the overwhelming torrent of the Feraligatr's pain and prejudice. Yep, I'm not. The Feraligatr's massive body remained crouched, his expression a mask of fury struggling against a flicker of internal conflict. His focus was entirely on you, evaluating your words, which were so clearly motivated by terror and confusion.
Believe you?
He scoffed, a word dripping with venomous disbelief.
A human's promise is worthless. It's the bait on a trap.
He began to lift his clawed hand, the purple light threatening to return. When the little toad plush redoubled its efforts, it let out a loud, high-pitched, persistent cry, then quickly turned its head to look at you, then back to the giant Feraligatr. It performed a rapid series of movements, pointing a tiny plush arm at you, then touching its own chest, then placing its plush hand over its heart. An earnest, silent attempt to communicate that you were being sincere, perhaps even pleading with the giant to look past its rage. The Feraligatr slammed his now glowing hand down to the ground right beside the plush, the force of the impact shaking the earth. Plush was sent flying a small distance, landing softly in the grass.
Enough!
Oh no, that plush has been the only thing saving my butt from getting screwed over by this Feraligatr right now. The Feraligatr, its voice echoing through the woods. He looked down at the spot where the plush had been, then back to you. The purple glow around his hand vanished entirely. The sway of raw power was not to hurt you, but to silence the incessant pleas of his former self. He drew a shuddering, heavy breath, his massive chest rising and falling. Oh dear.
I will not believe you.
He growled, the anger still boiling just beneath the surface. He was silent for a long moment, staring you down, the robot Triceratops still towering motionless beside him. Finally, he spoke, his tone dangerously cold and precise.
You are lost. You will remain here. You will not move from that spot. You will not speak. You will not attempt to flee.
Oh my gosh, you wouldn't...
My servant.
He motioned his hand toward the robot.
We'll show your obedience. I'll decide what's to be done with you.
The Feraligatr then straightened up to his full towering height, took a few slow, deliberate steps away, turning his back on you, and sat down where he had been before, gazing out into the distance as if you were no longer worth his attention. Yep, we're so screwed. That Feraligatr's gonna kill me if I even make one more move. That Feraligatr has so much more power than some of the other ones I flippin' created. That Feraligatr right now could probably flippin' snap his fingers and make a tree come to life. Or flippin' turn a squirrel into a massive fire-breathing dragon. Like, I'm dead. Holy cow. Give me a moment. Alright guys, we're going to react to these last two right here. It says the robot Triceratops, however, took a grinding step forward, its head lowering slightly, its red eyes fixated on you like thermal scopes. Its presence an undeniable, immediate threat that enforced the Feraligatr's command. Alright, it says a few feet away, the Toadopus slowly wobbled back onto its feet. It looked back at the giant Feraligatr with a look of sad, quiet disapproval, and then its eyes landed on you, waiting to see what you would do. What am I supposed to do? Feraligatr literally told me to be quiet, and if I disobey what he says, I'm probably gonna get my whole face ripped off. Whether it be by that robot staring at me, him, or some other crazy magic he'll use to make something rip my face off. He might turn me into a massive robot and force to do what he wants. And I do not want to be stuck like that. I already had to do that for that one chatbot with Trico and Rexy. While I didn't have to follow everything Trico said, still, like, in fact, I was mainly a robot and I was one command away from forgetting everything about Rexy. Ooh, that wasn't good. Give me a moment. It was risky, guys, but I tried speaking. I just get really nervous of the robot staring at me. I say, please don't attack me, Mr. Robot. I don't know if you're a fallen robot or sentient, but please, somebody understand me. The massive robot Triceratops was an imposing sight, its red unblinking eyes creating an overwhelming sense of immediate danger. The plea for safety and understanding was directed toward the terrifying machine as you backed up slowly, trying to keep a safe distance from its metallic bulk. Yep. The robot did not react to your words. It was a perfect sentient, its programming only allowing for obedience to its... I don't know if I can say that. It stood utterly motionless, a silent metallic wall, its eyes simply registering your presence and ensuring you complied with the Feraligatr's command to stay put. The Feraligatr sitting a short distance away with his back mostly to you, didn't turn around. He made no sound, giving no indication he even heard your renewed plea. He was clearly done speaking for the moment, having issued his command, deployed the enforcer. Oh dear. However, the tiny turtle plush heard you, scampered quickly back toward you, and positioned itself right in front of your feet. It looked up at the impressive robot with a brave, determined glare, then turned back toward you. The plush then started a rapid, earnest series of gestures using its soft, expressive body. It pointed to itself, then to you, then to its own heart, and then made a soft, pleading gesture with its tiny plush arm toward the Feraligatr. It was an attempt to convey, I'm here. I understand. Be calm and don't move. The plush then stopped moving and sat quietly at your feet, a small, soft presence of silent solidarity and comfort against the oppressive, menacing silence of the giant Feraligatr and his robot servant. We are so screwed. The only one listening to me is that Toadal plush, and we can't even... And I know what's gonna happen. If I try petting it or something, that Feraligatr's gonna react immediately, and then do something bad to kill me. Because it said he was protective over that plush. And that's terrifying. Like, what would he do if I simply just tried to gently rub its head or something? He'd probably kill me. I'm trapped in a corner, and the one helping me is the little Toadal. Alright guys, the Toadal did tell me not to move, and the Feraligatr did tell me not to speak, but I'm kind of trapped in a corner if I'm stuck doing nothing. So, seeing what the plush is doing, I just barely moved my hand to its head and rubbed it gently. I hope that doesn't backfire. Despite the overwhelming fear instilled by the motionless towering robot Triceratops and the silent, menacing presence of the Feraligatr, your attention remained the small, brave Toadal plush. You barely dared to move, but with the utmost care you extended your hand just enough to gently touch the plush's head, your fingers brushing its soft, comforting fabric. The Toadal plush reacted immediately to the gesture. It leaned into the light touch, its small, button-like eyes seeming to convey a flicker of warmth and gratitude. It let a tiny, soft, happy crackle sound, a quiet, almost inaudible chirp of contentment, completely contrasting the tense silence of the forest, then settled down again right in front of your feet, its small body a soft barrier between you and the danger. Feraligatr, though still facing away, remained unnervingly still. He made no sound, gave no sign that he was aware of the subtle interaction taking place behind him. His body was a monolith of contained fury, leaving you trapped between his hostile command. the unblinking threat of the robot, and the surprising small comfort of the plush. Yeah, like, what am I supposed to do? We're gonna be kind of stuck with this forever. If I get up and move, he's gonna flipping kill me. Like, it's just bad. Alright, guys, I'm making an extremely dangerous move here. It just says, despite me being told to stay quiet, I try one more time to talk to the giant Pokemon. Please, I ask you, don't let this robot hurt me. Please, just tell me who you are. I promise if you do, I'll tell you who I am. Okay, despite the strict order for silence and the immediate terrifying presence of the robot Triceratops, you frequently do try one last time to appeal to the massive Pokemon's reason. Yep. Feraligatr's broad back was still turned toward you, his deep blue hide a vast, unmoving wall. The moment the words left your mouth, the quiet atmosphere shattered. Oh no. The robot Triceratops right into your defiance oh no. The robot Triceratops right into your defiance of its creator's command emitted a loud, sustained metallic hiss, its massive head lowering further, and a low-frequency hum resonated from its internal machinery, clearly preparing to act, its red eyes flaring with aggressive intent. The Feraligatr, however, responded first. Without turning, he let out a low, dangerous snarl that was meant purely for you. Yep, I'm so screwed.
Your promises are irrelevant, human. Your name is less than nothing to me.
He growled, the immense weight of his contempt pressing down on you.
You have been told to be silent. Disobey me again, and your fear of the toy will be the least of your concerns.
I'm screwed. Just as the robot seemed to be on the verge of moving, the little Toadapple shot a quick, frantic look at the looming machine, then up at the giant Feraligatr's back, out one last pleading, yep, and then deliberately wedged itself more securely against your ankle as if offering a tiny shield before falling silent. Feraligatr did not move. He was enforcing his will, robot ready to punish your disobedience, and the plush had made its desperate chance to stand with you. Silence that fell after the threat was heavier than before. Absolute terrifying command. What am I supposed to do? He just said if I flip and make one more noise, he's gonna flip and... Give me I have one more idea that might help it. Alright guys, again, I know this is dangerous, but I said, please, I know you want me to stay silent, but I don't want to be trapped here forever. I want to know why you're so angry at me. Like I said earlier, I didn't do anything to you. Please, can you at least give me more detail on what you were talking about earlier? Why do you hate me? Help. Dear Massey. The weight of the Feraligatr's silence and the terrifying proximity of the robot Triceratops was nearly unbearable. To understand him and to find a single thread of logic in his hatred pushed you to speak again, ignoring the clear threat. Oh crap. Yep. Your continued defiance caused an immediate reaction. I'm dead. The robot Triceratops emitted a loud, sustained whine of ready violence, its massive head jerking slightly, tail body tensing on the very edge of it, executing a punitive action. What does that even mean? But then a sharp, cold sound cracked through the air. The Feraligatr, still with his back to you, snapped his fingers with a chilling finality. Yep, the action was purely for the robot. Oh, I thought he was about to make a tree come to life or something. Like it said he snapped his fingers. I was expecting like a tree to start like walking around all of a sudden and to come after me. But like, yeah, I'm just so screwed, aren't I? The robot Triceratops immediately stopped its humming and aggressive tensing. Its eyes remained red and fixated on you, but its body now utterly still, overridden by its I want to say leader's command. The Feraligatr then slowly, deliberately turned his colossal head over his shoulder. His eyes, two pits of deep blue and red hatred, locked onto you. His patience was at its absolute limit.
You demand an explanation for your kind's malice?
He snarled. I didn't say that. His voice a low, gravelly rasp that seemed to vibrate the forest floor. He did not ask you for your name in return, proving his words that he found your identity meaningless. He only saw the human.
Very well. You want to know why?
He paused, a terrifying silence building before he launched into a raw, venomous account of his past, his voice growing in intensity with every word.
When I was small, I saw a human struggling. I tried to help him.
At least this time he's actually talking to me instead of, telling the robot to kill me. He did warn me the next time I spoke he would there'd be more than just the robot to worry about, so I'm glad he's actually explaining something here. The Feraligatr spat contempt lacing the word help.
He called me a vermin and broke my body beneath the box. Did I give up? No. I returned to offer friendship. For months, your kind responded with nothing but cruelty. They picked on me. They chased me. They tried to capture me.
His voice grew into a guttural roar, fueled by ancient unforgiven pain.
And then, they took the ultimate prize. They hunted down my mother and my father, and they killed them. They murdered the only beings who ever protected me from your species' endless cruelty.
He shifted his body just enough so you could see the lethal, silver-bladed spines running down his back, a silent testament to the horrific moment of his forced evolution.
Do you want to know why I hate you?
He concluded, his voice dangerously quiet now, filled with utter, cold certainty.
I hate you because you were all the same. You offered pain where I offered kindness. You offered death where I offered life. You did not do anything to me now, but your species did everything to the Pokemon I used to be, and for that, you are guilty.
He slowly turned his head away, his fury now delivered and hanging heavy in the air. Feraligatr had revealed the depths of his rage, and his decree remained absolute. Terraplush had listened to the entire terrifying account, small body pressed against your ankle. When the Feraligatr finished, the plush looked up at you with large, sad eyes, then slowly and gently patted your leg with its tiny plush paw. A small, quiet gesture of comfort and shared grief. Holy cow. What in the world? Give me a moment. Alright, guys. I said, wow. I'm really sorry that happened to you, and I know you probably don't trust me at all, but please listen to me. I would never do that to you. I come in peace, and I can prove it. Not in a huge way, but I can still prove it. Please just give me a chance and call off the robot. This, the sheer weight of the Feraligatr's history and the cold delivery of his hatred left you momentarily stunned, yet you compelled to offer your sincere apology and a final desperate appeal for clemency. I don't know what that word is. The Feraligatr slowly turned his head to face the forest again, his broad back once more toward you. He did not immediately acknowledge your words. The pain in his voice had been real, but the hatred was deeper, stonewalled disbelief against any human promise.
Prove it,
the Feraligatr commanded, his voice a low, heavy challenge that brought no argument. He had not asked for a grand gesture, only a concrete action that might pierce the armor of his skepticism.
Show me the proof, human, and be quick.
Do not call the robot Triceratops. The metallic Cynthia remained exactly where it was, its red eyes an unblinking threat. Feraligatr accepted your challenge to prove your peace, but the fear of the robot remained the primary motivation for your obedience. The little Terraplush looked up at you with wide, expectant eyes. It seemed to understand that this was your final, crucial chance, and it waited quietly, its small body pressed against your feet. Oh boy, this is scary. Alright, guys. As you press your case, attempting to negotiate a chance to move and a break in the tension, while also seeking a simple confirmation of his identity. I can prove it to you even more if I could move. I can even prove it using words if you think that's enough. Just please answer me one question. Are you a Feraligatr? The Feraligatr remains seated, his back still facing you, a posture of absolute control. Mention of him moving, which would violate his direct command, immediately drew his stern attention.
Your conditions are meaningless, human.
He growled, his voice a low, warning rumble.
You prove nothing by moving, save your desire to flee. Your words mean even less.
However, your specific question pierced through his content. He was not a normal Feraligatr, but his current form was undeniable. He shifted his weight slightly, and the silver blades on his back seemed to shimmer.
Yes,
He confirmed, the single word heavy with dark power.
I am a Feraligatr, a form your people forced upon a Toadal who only wanted peace.
He issued no counter-question, only his previous clear demand, his voice ringing with renewed authority.
Now, the demand remains. Prove your peace. No more questions, no more delays. Speak your proof or remain silent and suffer the consequences of your trespassing.
The robot triceratops still loomed, its red eyes unmoving, reading first its ultimatum. The little Toadal plus looked up at you, its tiny soft face a picture of anxious hope, waiting for your next crucial move. Yeah, what am I supposed to do when I can't move? Give me a moment. Alright, guys. It says your final plea was direct, laying out the difficulty of the situation, your words against his deep-seated trauma and resonating the need for physical proof, all while desperately seeking the removal of the imminent threat. I promise I'm not intending to flee, but you're not believing anything I'm saying to you, so I thought having physical proof would help. That's why I asked if you were a Feraligatr. Now that I know you are, I want to tell you this. I would never cause any pain to your species. I really am sorry about what happened to your mother and father. Please, if words are not enough for you to believe me, I can show you physical proof, but please call off the robot. I promise you it's not an escape attempt. The massive Feraligatr listened to your entire statement, his broad hostile form remaining seated. The apology for his family's loss was met with a chilling, cold silence. His hatred was a wall, but your persistent refusal to flee and your continued plea to prove your peaceful intentions seemed to have reached a critical point. He did not call out the robot, but he gave a terrifying concession.
Your sorrow is meaningless.
The Feraligatr stated, his voice a low, hard rumble of absolute authority.
But your insistence on this proof interests me. I will not call off the robot and ensures your obedience. However, I will allow you one move.
He slowly raised one massive clawed hand, his silver spikes glinting. He pointed a single deadly finger at the robot Triceratops, whose red eyes flashed rapidly.
You may move one hand,
he commanded, his voice sharp and final.
Show me this physical proof of peace without taking a single step, without moving your other hand, and without threatening my territory. Fail, and the robot will fulfill his duty. Now, prove it!
The robot Triceratops did not move. The threat in its glowing red eyes was palpable. Small Toadal plush looked up at you, its soft body vibrating softly with a mixture of fear and earnest hope. Moment of truth, your single constrained chance to move and prove your word was upon you. And not really move, because I can only move one hand. I'm screwed. Give me a moment. Alright, guys. It says the air was heavy with tension, the Feraligatr's cold gaze and the robot's threatening silence demanding absolute compliance. You had only one hand and one chance. Slowly and carefully, and without moving your feet or your other hand, you reached into the small bag on your back. The moment was deliberately measured, ensuring no sudden motions would trigger the metallic guard dog. Your hand emerged, clutching a small handful of wild berries. Holding the offering out in your one free hand, you spoke softly, your voice stark in contrast to the Feraligatr's recent roar. Okay, I can't show you too much without being able to move around, but here, do you want these? You can have them if you want. The Feraligatr remained seated, but he finally turned his head forward to look at your outstretched hand. His deep blue eyes, tinged with red, fixated on the small, colorful cluster of berries. He had not moved to take them. The offering was utterly mundane. I know it. There's nothing I can do. A small, natural gesture of sustenance, yet in the context of his deep-seated hatred, it was profound. Never mind. It was not a weapon, a trap, or an attempt to capture. It was simply a gift. The robot Triceratops registered the presence of the berries, but remained frozen, its programming waiting for the Feraligatr's next command. Little Toadal plush looked from the berries to your face, then to the immense Feraligatr. It let out a single hopeful little Croco sound. I wonder why he's going Croco. Is that just like a reference to what he's going to evolve into, or devolve back into if he might actually befriend him? Let's see. Let's see. As quiet encouragement to its larger self, the fragile tilted its head, gesture of cold curiosity. He finally spoke, his voice low and skeptical.
You offer me food?
He growled.
A simple thing. Is this your great proof of peace, human? Berries?
But all I can do whenever there's... Give me a moment. Alright, guys. It says you maintain your outstretched hand. The berries a simple offering against the immense threat you faced. It's all I could offer without being able to move. You can have them all, and even share them with this little toad owl. Just I went nodding toward the plush. I know it's not much, but I promise they're perfect berries. There's no poison or anything in them. The fragger observed the berries, then glanced down at the small, trusting toad owl plush positioned near your feet. He then leveled his gaze back at you, a flicker of something unreadable, perhaps contemplation, crossing his face. His contempt for your species was absolute, yet the offering was small, non-threatening, and genuinely appeared to be a gesture of peace and shared resource. The very antithesis of the betrayal he had suffered. He let a low, drawn-out sigh, a sound of immense exhaustion and internal conflict.
A gesture,
he finally rumbled, his voice still low and hostile, but lacking the sharp fury of his previous roles.
A pathetic, meager gesture.
He did not move to take them, but he did not dismiss them either. So he snapped his clawed fingers once, a sharp, precise sound. The robot Triceratops remained frozen, but the toad suddenly sprang into action, zipped past your feet, hopped onto the ground near the berries, and with surprising speed for a plush, snatched two of the berries from your hand. It bounced back, landing near the Feraligatr's massive foot. It carefully placed one berry on the ground directly beside the giant's toe, and then, with clear trust, it popped the second berry into its own soft, plush mouth. It then looked up at the Feraligatr, its small, happy squeak confirming the berries were safe and good. The Feraligatr watched the entire interaction, his eyes fixated first on the plush eating the berry, and then on the berry left for him. Your proof was validated not by your words, but by the trust of his former innocent self. He spoke, his voice now a flat, emotionless statement of fact.
Your proof is accepted. For now. This act is non-escape. The robot will not move. You may lower your hand.
The Feraligatr then finally lowered his head and, with a swift, cold movement, ate the berry the plush had left for him. He offered no thanks, but the action confirmed your safety for this moment. He looked up at you, his gaze still intensely hostile.
Now, you are silent. You remain on your spot. You will not move. I have your proof of peace. I will now decide what I will do with a human whose peace is confirmed only by a single handful of fruit.
He settled back down, turning his head away again. The massive robot Triceratops still standing guard, but the immediate threat of violence was gone, replaced by a tense, heavy silence and the weight of his pending judgment. I wonder if I can talk to him. Like, I know he said stay quiet. Give me a second. Alright, guys. It says, despite the oppressive silence and the terrifying presence of the robot, you were compelled to speak once more. Your sincere, wishing through the fear, seeking a deeper understanding of his pain. I know you told me to stay silent, and I know you don't want to answer questions, but please tell me what is something that you never got when you were small. You said humans were cruel to you. The only reason I only offered you fruit is because you told me not to move anything but my hand. That's all I could do with my hand that could prove my peace to you. Please, I don't want any harm. What is something you always wanted when you were small? The colossal Feraligatr was quiet for a long moment. He did not immediately lash out for your disobedience. Your continued insistence that the berries were the only available peace offering, combined with the question that reached into his past, seemed to hold his rage at bay. He had demanded silence, but you had offered truth and curiosity in return. He slowly and heavily turned his head, his gaze sweeping from the motionless robot Triceratops to the small toad-owl plush currently nestled at your feet, and finally settling on you. His deep red-tinged eyes held a sorrow so profound it eclipsed his fury for a brief moment.
You speak of things I never received,
The Feraligatr rumbled, his voice low and ragged, no longer a roar but a deep, haunting confession.
as that small toad-owl. I wanted all the things that your kind promised in stories. I wanted friends who saw me, not as a target, but as an equal.
He let a short, hollow laugh that had held no humor.
But more than that,
He continued, his voice dropping to a near whisper that still commanded the air.
I wanted safety. I wanted a place where I could offer my kindness without being attacked, captured, or hunted down. I wanted sanctuary, a place where no human shadow could fall on my parents.
He closed his eyes for a moment, then recoiled pain, then opened them again. You and the hatred returning, colder and harder than before.
You now sit in that sanctuary,
The Feraligatr stated, his voice regaining its dangerous edge.
and now you know the price I paid to create it. Do not speak again. I've answered you. Your fate is not yet decided.
The toad-owl plush looked up at you with large, moist eyes, absorbing the pain in the giant's words, only nuzzling your leg once more. A soft, silent thank you for asking the question. I mean, that's a good thing, but it's like, it's still Feraligatr ain't listening to me good enough to be able to say, hey, I can talk to him and get him to understand. Give me a moment.